What's up, guys? I'm Fern, creator and executive producer of Survifern, an LRG that is both music festival and reality TV show. We're hanging out here at ADP Vibes today, giving you a behind-the-scenes look on how to create your own LRG. If you're out there wanting to make your own game, then this video is for you. Today's topic is consider this before creating your LRG.
Consider the following.
All right, so the first thing you want to consider is the tone of your game. Are you trying to make a game that's based off of a specific game that's already created? Is it a Survivor game, Big Brother, The Mole, Amazing Race, Traders? I can just keep on naming names here. But if you just want to make a carbon-based copy, then great. You know where you're kind of starting from. You know your phrases, you know your beats, you know what you're calling everything. Tribal council is tribal council, the tribes are tribes. Maybe you're trying to create a game that combines a lot of elements. You know, maybe they're teams instead of tribes. Maybe you have vote out ceremonies or elimination. Basically, the world is your oyster. So figure out what type of game. Are you playing a game that exists already, or are you out there to make your own game? Okay, so now you know the tone of your game. The next thing to figure out is what resources do you have? So if you're trying to film this, are you filming on cameras? Are you filming on phones? Anything is viable for your first game. We filmed our first one off of whatever we could get our hands on. Phones, figure out what you're doing. Challenges, what do you have already available to you and what are you going to have to purchase? Set design, you want to make sure it's cohesive. And then the biggest resource of them all are the people, the team that you're going to build. You really shouldn't go into this trying to just do it all on your own. You're going to lose your head. So figure out who around you is also interested in doing this. Reach out to the local community of LRG players out there, of LRG games out there. All of us really do like to share the knowledge and share the experience because it's like this fun thing that you realize once you just tell yourself, yes, I can do it in any type of project. Once you tell yourself yes, then you're just like in the creation zone. And a lot of people out there, they enjoy being in creation zone. And if you provide a good space where they feel, creatively safe to input their ideas, then you might open up your resource of people that you have for your team. Okay, so now you know the tone of your game. You know what resources you have readily available. You really should consider your budget. I'm going to say that again because you really need to consider your budget. What does $100 do for you? What does $500 do for you? And if you can get more than that, amazing. If you have a couple thousand to work with, you really need to figure out what to do with it before you spend it all on buffs. Maybe the first year you don't need to have like the most beautiful looking buffs because that's an extra $400 that you can place elsewhere. Maybe the first year you don't have to go as hard into art department and painting everything because that also takes up time if you don't have a beautiful girlfriend named Lauren that does everything for you. So you really need to figure out what you can pay for and what you need to hold off on. Camera crew, if you are okay with just using iPhones, you can get away with that. If you have a little bit of a budget, maybe you get one cameraman that can be on a tripod and you use that tripod strategically. You don't need to be using that for confessionals. Maybe you have it set up a really great shot on the tribal council or one really great shot on your challenges. And then also you can consider renting gear instead of purchasing gear. So there's a lot of different ways that you can figure out how to stretch a dollar, and I definitely recommend stretching those dollars as far as you can when you first make your LRG. You can really stretch out the money when you get smart with how to use it, but it's going to be hard to do anything off of $0. The other thing to consider is how much do you want to charge your players to compete. Some games are free, a lot of games aren't. A lot of games use the money that the contestants are putting in so that you can pay for food, so that you can pay for those great buffs that you want. So if it's your first year, maybe it's a $100 player fee. I know some games go up to $500 playing fees. It really just depends on what you feel capable of doing, but you should figure out what type of playing money you have before you go off buying and spending every dollar that you have on the game, because 4 years will go by and you'll have no money left. Next topic.
I love that.
Okay, so you have your tone, you have your resources, you have an understanding of your budget, because let's be real, no one ever understands their budget really. But the next thing to consider is, where are you running your game? So if you're running your game in your backyard, like what I do, well, there's things that go along with that. Now I need to have house rules because all these people are coming to my home. And it's not even my home, it's my parents' house. Thank you, Mom and Dad. But house rules. Are you going to let anyone in and out of the house? If so, which spots of the house are they allowed in? The bathroom, the living room? Where are your charging stations? If you're doing this in a park or a public property, how are you charging the phones, your computers, your cameras, your lav mics? Everything needs power. So it's very important to figure out how you're going to do that. If you're not filming on one of your own locations and you're going to do this in a public space, a lot of times you can get away with just showing up and doing it. But maybe you should consider seeing what the rules and regulations are for that space. You'd hate to gather all of your players, show up to a public area, and then someone's like, actually, you need to have a permit to film here, and they kick you out. I'm being a little extreme right now. I know a lot of LRGs are just running public places and they get away with it fine, but I would just consider that before you put all your eggs in one basket. And then you know what the next thing to consider, which is probably the first thing to consider, is are you filming it or are you not?
We'll do it live! Fuck it!
File management. File management is tough. You have 7 phones going, you have 3 cameras going. Where does it all live? I would recommend getting a 4 terabyte, 8 terabyte hard drive, which goes back to budget. You know, what can you afford on file management? You have a hard drive with all these files on it, and then you have a cloud-based backup, whether it be Dropbox, Google Drive. Those are probably like the 2 places to go for. So you want that footage to be easily accessible for years on years. I go back to my season 1 Dropbox all the time to pull off moments that I want to rewatch and bring into edits on my future seasons. So when you're managing your files, the first thing you need to do is have it all dumped on one central location.
Nah, sister. You're not getting me to no secondary location.
If you get all the phones to airdrop you the footage, to make their own Dropboxes, and then you download after the fact, somehow you have to get all the footage on one central location. Do it on a hard drive, make the folders. I like separating it by day. Day 1, day 2, day 3. My game's a 3-day game. So day 1, round 1, and then everything that goes into round 1. Round 1, confessional, all the confessional. Round 1, tribal council, all the tribal council stuff. Round 1, challenges, all the footage from the challenges. So you need to organize it in a good way so you can find anything easily. And then you clone your hard drive and you upload it to your web-based service, whether it's Dropbox or Google Drive, like I said before. But you need that clone in case, let's say one day you need someone else to edit it, they can download that clone to their own hard drive and then they can work off of it. That's really like a low budget way to do it, and it might not sound like a low budget way, but there are a whole bunch of other ways to file management for way more money that does work smoother. But in the first couple rounds of your shows, I would recommend hard drive, cloning it to a cloud-based service, and then working from there. It's going to take time. It could take you like a week or so to get through all the footage potentially, depending on what you have. But that also goes to considering what you want to film it on. Are you filming 4K, 1080p? Just make sure it's as consistent as possible. And if you're using phones, your phones have a setting that can toggle between 1080 and 4K and cinematic and all that stuff. So I guess I would consider how you're filming it a lot too. Great, so now you have the tone of your game, you have the resources, the budget, you know how to organize your files. The next thing that you should consider, which is tough, weather and unforeseen circumstances. For a long time in my life, I have considered that by ignoring it and making just powering through. Oh, it says it's gonna rain? No, it's not gonna rain. And sometimes that works out. The weather app is only going to be as accurate as the weather app is. You should have your contingency plans because it will bite you in the ass one day if you just think you can power through a thunderstorm. You cannot power through a thunderstorm. So some LRGs have rain dates and you can confirm that with your cast in advance where these are the start dates. Are you also available for these rain dates if need be? You might have alternates in case you have to switch your dates. You also have to consider general sickness. What happens if one of your players gets sick the week before and they can't show up, or the day before and they can't show up? You should consider what your game looks like at a full cast, down 1 person, down 2 people. And if you can have members on your production staff as alternates. It's important though, if they are your alternates, they don't know anything about the game design.
All right, then, keep your secrets.
You need to keep them in the dark and just tell them, you're showing up, these are the dates, And I'm either handing you a camera and you're filming, or I'm handing you a buff and you're playing. Okay, so we've talked about a lot to consider, and honestly, there's 100 different things you should probably think about. But one thing that we definitely want to talk about is, how are you feeding everyone? We've done it with years, and we've had people just make huge pots of pasta, huge pots of rice and beans to keep it on the low end. You can order food to be delivered there as well, but you also really have to understand what that budget is. Consider the dietary restrictions of your casting crew. You do not want to force them to eat things they can't have, and consider how you're fueling them. If everybody is eating bagels for 3 days, your entire cast and crew is going to be bloated. Try to get them some good protein, try to get them a well-balanced meal so that they have the energy to both compete and help you produce the game. All right, so that, I guess, will be part 1 of what to consider. We might do a part 2, 3, and 4, because there's a lot. If you like this content, let us know. Leave a comment underneath, like and subscribe. Maybe we'll book another day at AP Vibes. We've been really appreciative of the space. You guys rule. Season 2 coming out this June. Season 4, we're filming it. If you want to come, DM us. We'll get you a ticket to the event. Thank you for watching and being a part of this. And just, there's a million other games out there. So go check them out.